The disease is unknown in people who apply the laws of health in their lives. The cause of all diseases is disobeying the laws of health. The most important medical saying goes, "There are no incurable diseases, there are only incurable people, those who do not want to change their bad habits." Therefore, any disease can be defeated if one accepts to live according to the simple principles of healthy living, which we have outlined in the previous series, and if he applies certain simple natural techniques that accelerate the healing process. The first step in the healing process is to reject all bad habits, and especially to stop the intake of poisons in the body. There are spiritual and physical poisons that modern humans consume. Spiritual poison, above all, implies stress that should be eliminated or minimized. Also, it is necessary to avoid contact with all sources of bad information that can lead a person to a state of spiritual illness, such as movies depicting violence, pornography, occultism and other forms of immorality. Listening to music with accented rhythms, pop, rock, heavy metal, techno, etc., which originate from tribes who used similar rhythms to invoke their gods and fall into a trance, is another form of spiritual poisoning that should to be eliminated. The lyrics of such songs call for immorality and destruction, and are very reminiscent of the contemporary media, which mainly deals with reporting on bad and destructive things, and should therefore be avoided. With a little wisdom and caution, one can be adequately informed of all important events in his or her environment and world without being spiritually hurt by vulgar and immoral information disseminated through the media. Also, one should avoid concerts and movie theaters in which a destructive program under the cloak of entertainment is performed and broadcast. Of course, there are music and movie programs that encourage and inspire a person, and they are warmly recommended. Watching of various sports competitions is another potential source of spiritual harm that should be avoided. Such activities are usually accompanied by gambling and socializing with people who accept the wrong value system, which can additionally hurt and poison the person. A particular form of spiritual poisoning is the false religiosity in which one practices various rituals, similar to those practiced by pagans around the world, and especially the indigenous tribes in Africa and South America, through which one enters a state of trance and serious spiritual illness. The purpose of a healthy religion is to acquaint man with the simple laws that God has given in Scripture, through which man will be healthier, more moral, more productive, able to create a family and raise children, and thus to attain the highest goals of a happy and quality life. So, in the healing process, it is very important for a person to practice healthy spiritual habits and to have good spiritual nourishment. This is achieved through fellowship with children and good people, spending time in nature, reading quality spiritual literature, as well as listening to spiritual music and watching of quality movie programs. Studies show that religious people who live morally and practice prayer progress much faster in healing, use fewer therapeutic agents in healing, and are generally much healthier. Discarding physical poisons is also a very important step in the healing process. The most famous poisons of this kind are unhealthy diets, smoking tobacco, consuming alcohol and caffeinated beverages, and consuming illicit drugs, marijuana, heroin, cocaine, etc. It should be noted here that it is difficult to draw a firm line between spiritual and physical poisons because spiritual poisons also cause physical damage to the body, and similarly physical poisons lead to spiritual illness. Therefore, it would be necessary to stop any form of poisoning of the organism as soon as possible. Studies show that bad habits are best discarded if they are discarded immediately, abruptly, as this gives a special stimulus to the brain to act. Bad habits are formed by the fact that multiple repetitions of certain bad activities lead to the formation of chemical bonds between brain cells. When a person stops performing bad activities, these chemical bonds break and other chemical bonds are formed in accordance with good habits. Of course, if a person is not spiritually strong enough to stop bad habits immediately, it is good to do so in any period of time, but the shorter the period, the faster the healing will occur. In the case of serious illnesses, rejection of bad habits must be immediate or fatal. The diagnosis of a modern patient is that his body is highly poisoned. Therefore, after stopping the intake of new poisons into the body, at the same time it is necessary to start the process of cleansing the body of the poison. So what do you think is more important aspect of human health? Is it spiritual or is it physical well-being? Please let me know by leaving comment below. In the next video, we will deal in more detail about the physical cleansing of the organism, although it goes without saying that spiritual cleansing, which we discussed in this video, should also accompany it. So, please stay tuned and wait for our next series. If you liked this video, please click the like button and subscribe.